As a man with something tiny in his pants, I've always been fascinated by the tiny world of insects, and macro lenses, some might say, are the best tool to explore that job. TTArtisan has sent us a 105mm 2.8, which destroys the Nikkor version, of course, and we went out for some magical moments on the Z6 III 6K60 RAW HD 240. I got a hover bug somehow in midair. The cinema was ours.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
I, of course, wouldn't be caught dead filming myself on a Nikon camera. We're on the Canon C100 Mark II with the Voigtlander 20mm 23.5. And yes, I do have eye aids again. So yes, TTArtisan sent me the lens for free. It's a shill tuber's response. So we got some incredible footage. We'll go over it. First, let's take a little closer look at the lens, shall we? So when it comes to build quality, I will say this. Nice all-metal build. I find the focus ring, it's a bit stiff. I'm feeling like the mount wiggle as I do it. And often, when I was out there in the field and it was all the way macro and I wanted to come out, I just noticed it was almost felt locked in place. That's how stiff it felt. So it's a bit much, but it's not too long of a focus throw. I like that. And these are very hard to move, which is it's good. It's a nice little metal click. You hearing those? It's pretty good. There's no lens hood that comes with it. It's just a slide off cap. And then you're kind of, I don't know, it has these screws. I don't know what those are for. To screw on a lens hood you buy at Kmart or something, but there you have that. Now this is a 2x macro lens, and most lenses are 1:1, this is 2:1, so double the size, and it's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was trying to do it wide open there. You get some things in focus, a lot isn't, but it's a magical world when you dive deep in there. For a lot of this, I ended up backing out a bit because 2:1 is the closest focusing distance, and almost nothing will ever be in focus unless you're in a studio scene of some sort. So often I backed out, not only further away, but also stopping it down to Tony 8. And I must say, moments were ours. The rendering is real. I mean, look at that bee. He came in, he's like, "What's up? Am I in focus for a second? Cool, I'm out of here." No longer. It's a very sharp lens. I mean, I love the TTArtisan 500mm f2.8. It's a beautiful lens for wildlife, but it's not as good as my 600mm that autofocuses and has stabilization in it. But that's why when they offered to send me this, I was like, yeah, I bet you it'll look beautiful. I do not have a macro lens right now, so let's do it. So the first little sequence was just trying to get magical bee footage. And when it comes to trying to do this handheld, everything is handheld. I brought a tripod with me just to see later on, but it's a pain in the ass. For the spider shots, you wait. I was on a tripod, and yes, you can get some moments, but it's hard because the stabilization, when you're focused in so close, it starts moving quite a bit. It's almost impossible. You think handheld, if it's something like a bird long away, look at that. The perfect stabe. No, it looks like I'm on a tripod. The slow motion, beautiful. But as you get closer, it's oh my god, we can't stabilize this lens anymore and move, do something different. Now when it comes to the tone, you have to test the tone. Is it smooth? That looks pretty good. There's no onion rings. That's nice. I noticed on my 85mm 1.2 Canon lens, there's all these onion rings in the middle. It's dirty tone. What the hell's that? Oh god, I have sensor dust. Oh no. Stop away. No, that is a bitch. So, the tongue looks smooth. If you clean your sensor sometimes. Come on. What happens if you stop down? Let's see what happens. We're at wide open 2.8. Oh, it's getting hexagonal. Oh, that's a bitch. Oh, the hexagons. You don't want hexagonal tones at your Thanksgiving dinner. They finish all the pie pretty quick. Oh, sensor dust will be the death of me. Why do you do this? Oh, all the imperfections. No. done. Here's 6K 60 RAW. It's not as good as HD 240. That's what I was in most of the time, because these moments are too quick and he's only in for a split second. It's like, okay, yeah, it was sharper, but 60 frames per second, what are you gonna do with that? Nothing. As the spider hangs, noticing that he's captured a kill, a little loser insect that wandered too close to his web, he waits for the right moment to pounce. That moment was after I left, probably. I didn't get the shot. Or he already pounced and had sex with it. I don't really know how the insect world works, but I missed it. Here's getting a little closer. This is like the minimum. This is the closest you can get, I think. Maybe it wasn't even. I was scared. I didn't want to break his web, so I was very cognizant of the fact that I might destroy his whole life. So I was just trying to get these little moments, but it's scary. It's a scary, mysterious world. If those things were our size, I would just end it. I'm not doing this. And the yellow-bellied sapsucker walrus spider noticed that the Nikon footage was very noisy, but that's fine. It's a good sensor. It's full frame. It's good. Good in low light. Look at that low light performance. I don't even mind it. If it's sharp, it's fine. And it wasn't, because he was never in focus, ever, but whatever. I gotta be honest with you, usually when a third-party company sends me a lens, it's sold within weeks, usually before the review is even released. They're just never the 3D pop, it's but this one's pretty good. Like, you want a macro lens in your arsenal, and if you're sticking with Nikon, why not this? Like, it was probably as stable as the Nikkor version. A little sync stave, okay, a little advantage. Autofocus isn't gonna get you. What are you gonna do? At that close, you think the autofocus is just gonna be like, yep, there's the eye of the thing, the shallow depth. Like, no. But is there 3D pop? Is there any 3D pop, my friend? If you can't also double as a talking in nature lens, what's the point? You'll never guess what I focused on. It wasn't one of these spiky balls. I don't know if it was this one or that one or even that one that I focused on, now that I see them all gathered. So I could be in focus here, maybe even sharper now. We're wide open. Maybe I'm intuiting this one is what I did. So far, that's not my life. Like, you're a creep. You know that. Macro photographers, you send your family's birthday cards with your little cockroach stamps and your look at this neat bug. Like, nothing's neat about your life. You should be cleaning toilets for a living, but at least you clean your own once a year. I'll leave. The ton. Are you believing the ton on that thing? 105 2.8. It's too much. It's more than we deserve. It's possible. I could be in. You'll never guess. There's that focus box. It's white. It's white, it stays white, it never goes green. What's the point of it? Thanks for tracking my eye and never turning and telling me when I'm in focus. Nikon, that's wonderful. What a life hack. I don't have pink eye. Your mom's pink. I'm in focus. Now, even though the footage is noisy as all heck, because it's raw and I'm not denoising it, I bet you a bunch of filmmakers are like, oh, it's raw and then I can denoise it later. Yeah, in 8 hours. Like, have fun with that rendering, with your neat video. There's nothing neat about that. It takes hours. But when you punch into 4K 120 and you already had a 2:1 macro, it becomes maybe 3:1 or 4:1, and it's slow motion, and the glory was ours. Like, look at that weird face of the spider. It scares me. Oh god, imagine if they were our size. No thank you. But HD 240 is where this lens shines, because Nikon has very good HD 240. I was wondering what it's gonna look like, and it's interesting that none of their other cameras can do it, but once they decided to do it, it leads the industry. Like, it's sharper than my ZVE1, so it's like, yeah, if you're doing wildlife, go for it. It's just so much more stable than the 120 or 60 frames, like, forget about it. Oh, mysterious little cocoon baby. What will you grow into and destroy? Oh, he's already been launched. Oh, he's a bug now. You've grown up so fast, little Timmy. Who will you scare next? Who will you land on? And they'll be wondering, what the hell was that? It was you, Timmy. Okay, now is where I found the hover bug. I was like, can I get this thing in focus? I spent like an hour here just trying to get various shots. They were like so still and behaving. They were curious. I was like, okay, we're doing this HD 240, the thinnest depth of field you ever seen in your life. And I was like, why didn't I stop it down? I actually did eventually. But like, we're getting these shots, little hover bug. He's like staying there just perfectly still. And there he landed. Interesting little bug. He's drying off his wings. Oh, that is the cinema right there. Those things are incredibly friendly, I would say. And then watch this, he takes off. Oh, good luck to you, good sir. But then I waited, and I caught back up with him. We said hello. The hardest part was just getting any of it in focus, but sometimes it doesn't need to be. I mean, you get a little moment where it's like, oh, what is that? Oh, what? And then boom, you get the little bit that you wanted to see, his eyes or the wing flapping, and then like you move on. You don't stay there for an hour and bore your audience to tears with hours of hoverbug footage. The fact that it's a manual focus only lens isn't even a problem. I found it easy, and I don't think the autofocus would be reliable in that situation anyway. So it's just like the look of TTArtisan, they have some magic to their company. They know what they're doing. The 500mm, it has a better look than my 600, but without the autofocus there, having bird eye detect, that's so handy, so damn handy, and the stave is not good at all. So like having that sync stave, it's like, okay, yes, but like your macro, come on, sync stave. I think that TTArtisan much cheaper and maybe better. Is it much reach for birds? No, no it isn't, not at all, but you can get the shot. Looks like there's some pop. I gotta be real with you, there's a minor bit of pop there, because the Nikkor 105mm has zero pop. I was looking up the Flickr pages and I was like, that might be a fun little lens, do street videography with it, sync stave, it's like, okay, that might be magic, and then also wildlife videos with the macro world, but I don't know, this is good enough. It's like probably better, but definitely good enough. This was in 4K 120, so that was like an extra APS-C crop on top of 105mm, so that's about as close as you're ever getting, and he was pretty close to me, so you'll never get a shot as good as that. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did see another hover bug, and I did capture its takeoff, and I stopped down the Tonys this time. He landed on another leaf, and I was like, okay, you have a weird body that extends out backwards. I don't like that. Don't like anything about the insect world. Nice exposure there, Nikon. Thank you very much for nothing. And then he flew, and I somewhat captured the moment. And it was a pretty good moment. Can you imagine this thing just landing on your arms and all those little thorns? Like he's a rose bush with thorns for arms, and they would stick into you, and you'd be like, oh, why isn't he getting off me? He's stuck on. How is he stuck on? It's because of the thorns that he was born with, and he's grabbing into you. No thank you, Earth. So not bad, TTArtisans. They're growing on me. They're one of the companies that actually produce some 3D pop images. The lenses are cheap, manual focus, somewhat decent build quality. That focus ring could have been dampened a little easier, but whatever. But if you're into macro, decent lens, I will keep it until I decide whether or not I switch into Canon and away from Nikon. But if I stay in Nikon, that little combo of 600mm prime and the 105 macro, you got everything covered. Shieldtuber review confirmed. We've done it. We've done it. There is a Christmas tree light back there. A mic is close to me, glowing from behind. Come on. How come no one will buy this lens? For like 2 years I've been trying to sell it. It's a glorious Voigtlander lens. Buy the damn thing. 20mm 3.5, it's glorious. Angry Photographer said it was. And then I bought it, and now no one wants it from me. Not that I don't love it. I love it. I'll leave. I'm standing. Is the lighting worse? Thank you for your Bitcoin donations. Subscribe for more videos.